Welcome back to Planet Grindhouse. Tonight, I decided I was going to look into something that I haven't really delved into all that much, that I actually thought of wanting to do. Tonight, I look at the phenomenon that is the video nasty. Video nasties are, or were, videos that were mostly in Britain and like mostly British Parliament type of movies where um, they were American movies, but in Britain they were heavily censored. People come here. They were heavily censored. If you were in, say, if you were a video distributor in Europe back in the Margaret Thatcher administration, you could face jail time for some of these movies. If you were a distributor or if you were a video store owner and you rented out one of these videos. It was one of those things. This was before the PMRC. This was, well, no, actually, I take that back. This is probably around the same time as the PMRC for the States. This is the English version, minus the music. It's mostly movies at this point. Anyway, so the video nasties, it had a list of suspects a mile long, basically. Some of the movies were good, some of them not as, no. But there are some that have slipped under the radar. And tonight, we're going to look at one of those. The actor Sage Stallone, Sylvester Stallone's son, who has passed on sadly, did a movie in 2003 called Chaos. This movie is basically, it's basically Last House on the Left, more or less, in terms of plot-wise. It's two girls going to like a concert in the field, somewhere out in some like, farmland field or whatever. It's kind of like what Burning Man would be, more or less. I've heard kind of on that. Feels like the same idea. They go, they try to score some marijuana, of course, or whatever, and they meet up with Swallow, which I think was, I can't remember if his name was Swallow or Swan. I think it was Swan. Anyway, they meet up with Sage Stallone's character, Swan, and he takes them to meet up with these other people. And the leader of this group is known as Chaos. And Chaos is basically the David Hess version of Krug for the new millennium. And it's a pretty brutal movie. It's graphic. When I put this up on YouTube, it will probably get a, not safe for kids movie. It's pretty bad. Basically, they go through the gamut. The two girls have to escape the killers, who, you already know what's going to happen. I don't really have to say too much into it. But there is a family. The family in the film is a white guy who looks a lot like. Actually, the irony is he looked a lot like Mark Scheffler, the guy who was the producer for this movie. He looked a little bit like him, like an older version of him. And for those that have watched Last House on the Left, you know he played Willow, or whatever the guy's name was, Krug's son. So, in terms of that, he's married to, of course, a black woman, and there's, of course, these two cops. One of them's kind of racist, looks a lot like David Hess, ironically. He's a bit of a racist dipshit, the usual redneck type of cop and whatnot. The cops in this movie are virtually pretty much fucking Christmas decorations in July. Yeah, I went there. I said it. I don't care. Uh, so basically, yeah, movie wise, it's graphic. It's a good film if you're like exploitation, which I do. But I'm not gonna defend this film and say it's some sort of cinematic masterpiece. It's there basically. It's definitely an homage to Wes Craven's Last House on the Left. I don't want to say rip off, but let's see. There was a girl in the film. She was like the Sadie. Um, she, ironically, um, unlike Last House, the parents don't kill everyone, which is kind of a I don't know. I don't know what to say. I guess it's a darker version, basically. Um, Chaos ends up killing um, the girl, the henchwoman, whose name escapes me for now. Let's see. He just basically kills her. She has this really surprised look on her face too when she dies, which I found very. When I saw it, I was like, the mental head cock type of thing. Just unexpected, I suppose. I was going to either do this movie tonight or I was going to review The Exterminator, and The Exterminator is a slightly lighter in tone movie, but that's definitely a 42nd Street film you would have seen in the 80s. That's another time, I suppose. In any event, I did like the movie. Um, like I said, like the movie, hard to defend. Um, it's for the rape revenge genre, it's a good film. It's not as good as like I Spit on Your Grave or Naked Vengeance, but it's up there and it's got a place for itself basically. In any event, that has been tonight's edition of the Grindhouse. This is the new portion of the show which I'm going to call Video Nasties and Nasty Videos. Until then, whenever we meet again, I bid thee fare thee well.